Hello, welcome to Dan Trades today. First of all, we'll look at the chart of Bitcoin. Welcome along. So in Bitcoin, we've been stuck in this channel, this 618, which is a pretty messy channel all in all. Once you get stuck in here, it's a lot of sideways movement. We went up and tested the 382 fib on the 19th of September, and we came back down to the 618. What I'm looking for now is to come down and have a nice double bottom now. So ideally come down to, we're holding the 100 moving average. As you can see there, we held it for a number of days here, 10 days. We were on that moving average. After the 618 fib was involved, we just hugged the moving average, the 100 moving average, which was a good sign. And we went up, we went through the 50 immediately. We closed the 14th of September on the 50. Then we powered through and we came up and we tested the 382 and rejected perfectly at the 382. Didn't really take much notice of this moving average here, the EMA, the 21 EMA. We sort of used it as support as we were bouncing in that little channel there. And we've come right down, tested the 100 and not gone down to the 618. What I would like to see now is to come down to the 618 here, $10,200 around that level. Then it's a nice double bottom. It's a nice double bottom pattern, and we can think about bottoming out then and then moving back upwards. If we go up now, I'm not so sure. You sort of want a bottoming pattern here. Bitcoin is looking a little bit more bullish than Ethereum actually at the moment. We'll have a look at that. Let's have a look at Bitcoin on the hourly chart first. So we've got those fibs up. As you can see, we've come down and tested this 618 and we're sort of stuck in that channel now. I want to see it come down so we have a double bottom and a little bit of sideways movement for a few days around the 10,200 mark. Then that will be a clear bottoming pattern, and then I feel that Bitcoin will be ready to move back up. It's also a three-way there, and 1, 2, 3. Back down to here. So actually, so we look at the fib extension to the low and then to the high, and the 618 is actually at 98,000. So 98, if we come down to 98 as a low, then we've double bottomed. Anything between 9.8 and 10.1, that'll be a nice double bottom. We'll be ready to move back up in Bitcoin. Ethereum is looking a little bit more bearish, in my opinion. So Ethereum, on the big zoom out view from the March lows, we're at that channel again, the 382 fib channel and the 236 from the highs at the end of August, beginning of September. So we've tested that constantly. We've lost the moving averages. That's bearish. And until we get back above those, I would say there could be more down movement in Ethereum. We haven't had the next leg down low enough. So I think Ethereum could come down to here, 288, the Fib 50. That's what I'm thinking in Ethereum, actually. And it's just set up a little bit more bearish. Let's have a look at... No, we don't want to look at that. So we'll go from this high to this low, this trend, this smaller trend. we're sort of, we came down and we tested the 236, and then we went up and we went beyond the 382, and we sort of haven't really used them to any great effect. What if I draw them the other way around? Yeah, we're sort of locked in that channel around the 618. Ethereum definitely looks a bit more bearish to me. It could come down to this moving average here, this 100 moving average, and test that fib that I showed you just a moment ago. What was that? The fib 50 at about 288. That's my opinion of Ethereum. XRP is in a big area, a big area of support. Some of these charts, the Bitcoin one and the XRP, it's looking like decent levels of support here, and we could be about to turn and start going up again. So in XRP, we're at the 618, and if we lose that, it's a big drop down to either the 200 moving average, which is at 21 cents, 21.42 cents, or the 786 fib, which is at 20 cents. I feel that this is the level now that it's come to, and I think that this is going to be good support for XRP. It's quite a big level because, as I say, it's got one more moving average below it, and then that's it. Quick look at NEO. Got NEO on a funky 12-hour chart. I don't like this chart because it's lost the low. It's gone lower than this low here. It's made a lower low, so I don't think that it's ready to be traded yet. It's had a decent rally. It's gone up, but I think it's bouncing back in the last 3 days. But I think it could go lower. I think 1, 2, and then 3. That's how these waves work. Usually corrections work in 3 waves. So you're going to see a down. This is a B and could stop now or soon, and then further downward action down to the 100 moving average at $18. Or let's get the fib on there. So we'll go from this rally here. Yeah, we've been up and tested the 618, yesterday's candle, and we're locked in that sort of zone there now. And I think that this is a B wave, and you're going to have a C wave correction. You could go down to, let's have a look at the fib extension. You could come all the way up actually to 22 on this B wave, but that could be likely. But then you've got a C wave to come in NEO. Let's have a look at the indices now. The indices are exciting me because the Nasdaq is looking good. The Nasdaq is looking very good at the moment, and Bitcoin follows that Nasdaq. It really follows it. Whatever the Nasdaq seems to be doing, Bitcoin seems to do with it. I will say that the European session is usually better than the American session in the Nasdaq. So we're on the hourly chart here on the Nasdaq, and we've come up above this key moving average, and we're testing it again. So this morning we've come up. We came up here, and then we've had a down candle, and getting above that. If we could stay above that, but as I say, we're going into the US Open now, the US session, and usually the European session is better. As you can see, we moved up in this European session this morning. We've just come back down, anticipated the Americans coming in. Let's have a look at it on the daily chart, the Nasdaq, because it's looking actually quite good. The Nasdaq at the moment, better than it was the other day, because we've come down and tested that 236 and then got above it. Now, usually what happens is it'll come and it'll use it. It'll be resistance, but it's got above that 236 there. And that is a bullish sign. The moving averages, it's testing this moving average, the 50, the big 50, which is a key moving average, and then it'll have the 20, which is coming down. So when it gets above these moving averages, then we can start being more bullish about the Nasdaq. Until then, the good sign is that it got above the 236 fib here yesterday and closed above it, because you expect that to be resistance in a bearish trend for a long time. And that looks like an A, a B, and then a C completed, and then we go on upwards. So the Nasdaq's looking positive, and the Nasdaq correlates so much to Bitcoin that that's quite noteworthy. And the Nasdaq. And let's have a look at the S&P. Now with this one, we've come down to that 236 there, and we've tested that, and then we've found resistance at the moving average, the 50 moving average again. So we're below these moving averages, but this looks like an equal measured move in the S&P, which is key. So look at the fib extension. Yep, look, we've come up and we've gone down to that 618. So that looks like an equal measured move there. See where we've come, the 618, we've come back down to that 3280, and we've bounced off of that, and that's a positive sign. I can't stress enough actually how important that fib extension is, because coming down here, it means it's an equal measured move and we're ready to go back up when that happens. And that's what usually you look for. You look to see if this has been an equal measured move, and it has. It's gone to the 618 at 3280, and it's bounced off that level, and there it's going back upwards again. Fibonacci really does work very well. A quick look at silver chart. I'm in silver, and I think that it's come down to the 382, bounced off it perfectly there, had a perfect bounce off the 382, and that could be this correction, quite a mighty correction, over, because you've got a move there, 1, 2, 3, and it's a key Fibonacci level. So that could be that over. It also might not be. Let's have a look at it on a shorter time frame quickly. We've not had much bounce from this 382 level. Let's go from this downward move. Well, let's go from this high first. If it bounces, we could. Let's have a look at that. If there's a bounce in there, we'll get up to $24.41 before we encounter some resistance. Yeah, 24.11 possibly in silver. I'm bullish on silver long term. Really am bullish on silver long term, because when you look at the gold silver ratio, I think there'll be a double bottom on a larger time frame, and silver will be the better one to be in than gold. And this correction is a healthy correction. If we look again on a longer time frame. Now, if you look at this, this is a measured move as well, which is bullish. So we get the fib extension on there. See, we've come down below that 618. It would have been good to get a bounce there. But we've continued down to the 382 from the lows, from the previous lows in March, the big time frame low, could encounter resistance there, but it's been more than an equal measured move. And anything that didn't reach that 618, so if we'd have come down to there, I'd have said there's more correction to come. But because we've gone beyond the 618 in the extension and down to the 382 perfectly, I'd say that this correction could be over. And this could be a really good buying time for silver. And depending on your risk aversion, I think silver's a buy now. It's not financial advice, but the signs are that it's done a correction, a decent correction here, and that could be over now. It also could just keep going down tomorrow to 20, to the Fib 50. It could be completely against what I'm saying, but I'm looking at the charts and giving probabilities here, and the probability is that 382 that it found is strong support, and we could be going to move back upwards. I just want to touch on some more themes of the year in crypto. Crypto this year has been as it normally is. It doesn't do what you think it's going to do, and crypto's been very much up and down. We had lows in January and March, and then we've had some cryptos, for example, Lend, B&T, Lend, particularly Lend, Band, Link. There's been a few other phenomenal performers, more recently Yearn Finance and the yield farming coins that have been a trader's dream, but an investor's nightmare. Because when you're an investor, even if you got in the lows and you watched it go up, but you didn't trade and you just left it, you've now watched it come down. It's not come down. The prices haven't come down to the point that they were in March and January. So if you got in then and you got in early, you're still in profit. But for a trader who got out of some of them at the top, I speak from experience and say that this technical analysis is really, really valuable for that sort of thing, because you can go on all the fundamentals you want. The space is full of a lot of fundamental people, but with proper indicators in the charts, particularly Fibonacci and Elliott Wave analysis, what I'm using, you can judge tops and bottoms far, far better. Moving averages as well are a great trend indicator. I've had that contradicted to me, and I contradicted myself with moving averages. But moving averages are always basics that you need to have on your chart. As I say, the space is a lot of fundamental people think that technical analysis doesn't work. If you're a trader, technical analysis is a sought after skill. It's an essential skill. You need it to trade. You can't go without it. There's so many different things that I use that are great for trending. I could sit here now and do a video for 2 hours, but I just want to keep it short and sweet. And we could be approaching bottoms now. In Bitcoin, Ethereum not so much, but certainly in Bitcoin is the mother coin. And if that's going to turn around, then we see a turnaround in the rest of them. A lot depends on the Nasdaq. And as I say, silver here looks like it could be a really good buy and entry. I have a friend that is interested in silver at the moment, and I'm going to say that silver is a good buy at the moment. It's had a big run up, so there is risk there. From the lows in March of 11, that's a huge run up if you got in March. I got in around the 22 mark, around this mark. So I'm not in huge profits in silver. I got in on this correction here. So I FOMO'd in a little bit, but I'm reading about silver signing deals with electric car manufacturers. I think silver's going to 3 digits. If you look at the gold-silver ratio, going to 3 digits, so that's a big thing in silver.